Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. You are watching the Couples Academy show. My name is Roland, and I have the most magnificent Gonzalez Smith with us this morning. Good to see you, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Likewise, man. So we hope that you all had a great weekend. Today we're talking about the six steps in restoring trust in marriage. But before we do that, we want to make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Let everyone know that we are here. We are here to serve you and make sure that you get all that you need. We also want to take out the opportunity to wish Mr. Hassani Pettiford a very happy birthday. We love you, man. Bless you as he continues to get poured into himself and restored. And we will see him back this week, but we want to wish him a very happy birthday on today. So let's jump into it. We're talking about the six steps in restoring trust in marriage. And we know that anytime trust is broken in any type of relationship, and especially in our marriages, it's going to take some time, it's going to take some work, it's going to take some effort on both parties to make sure that we are restoring trust through this process. And not only both parties, but even more so the betrayed party, and he or she has to go over and beyond to overcompensate sometimes to make sure that the reassurance is put back in place and that we can move effectively in restoring our trust. So let's make sure we walk through these and understand where we are and how that looks, because a lot of times, we can say that, oh, I forgive and I trust and so forth. But a lot of times we are not doing the work that's necessary to make sure that the trust is being restored in our marriages. So we're going to walk through these and give you some insight on what that looks like. Okay. So the first one is we want to acknowledge what happened with full and specific transparency. Acknowledge what happened with full and specific transparency. In other words, we have to make sure that we are speaking truth in the situation. We have to acknowledge that it happened. We have to admit that it happened, but now we have to take action on what we need to do. And in order to do that, we have to be very specific in our words and be transparent and vulnerable. And while it is a scary idea to be vulnerable with our spouse, it is very much necessary. So we have to make sure that we are taking full responsibility and being transparent and being specific in the actions that we take in restoring trust. What say you, Gonzalez?
You have to be excuse me, transparent because you was transparent when you did what you did. You know what I mean? You showed up
Right, right.
then. Why can't you show up in the marriage to have full transparency with your partner, with your spouse, to unleash and unload of the pain that you cause? Excuse me. And being very specific with the details. We're taught by rule ones that details matter. So the spouse is going to want details. You know what I mean? You don't want to have given answers. They want the details. They want the ingredients to the meal that you're providing. So yeah, full transparency is real. It is scary, but it is real.
And the other thing is, a question was asked, can a pathological liar change? And even with giving trust, even with the work of restoring the trust, it has to be a mindset change. There has to be a heart transformation in
Mhm.
order to be vulnerable, in order to be specific, in order to be transparent. So, absolutely, a pathological liar can change, but they will only change if they change their mind and change their heart. So, that's the only way it's going to work. If they do those steps, then obviously they will change and they will heal. Okay. So the next one is take ownership of the situation beyond simple acknowledgement. Take ownership of the situation beyond simple acknowledgement. So a lot of times what we do is we'll say, oh yes, that's what happened, that's what I did, but we'll always try to shift the blame on someone else. We'll always try to justify why we did what we did and not take ownership of what we've done. And the fact of the matter is, we are all grown, and no one can actually make you do something that you don't want to do. So when we don't take ownership of it and we push it off on someone else, then we become like childlike state of mind, because we don't want to fess up or take ownership for our own actions. Oh, I did it because of X, Y, and Z. Now, granted, there are ways that you can have conversations that will maybe contribute to why you did what you did, but you still have to take ownership for what you have done.
You purchased it. You purchased the infidelity. You purchased the affair. You own that. It's up to you to take responsibility. It's more personal to acknowledge it. Because when you take ownership, it belongs to you. You have the title. You have the deed. You have the words to say and project. Listen, not only was I wrong, this is why I was wrong. I did it because I wanted to. Okay, why? Why did you do it? Where were we at the time that you done what you did? And acknowledge what you did not only was wrong, but following through with the plan. You know, take this is my coat. This is my coat. I own this. It's not Roland's. It's nobody else's but mine. I own it. If I drop it on the floor, if I put it on the back of a chair, I own it. Pick it up. It's the same thing with the relationship. Pick it back up.
Absolutely. We have to own it. It's yours. You purchased it. You own up to it. You identify with it. And let's take responsibility for it. Hey, listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show, and we will be right back after this short commercial break.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are watching the Couples Academy show. We're happy to have you all. I want to shout out really quick those that are watching, and we appreciate you all sharing this time with us. We have Peter, Callie Power Couple, Kenny Barquette, Sean, LaShawn, Taria, Austin. We have LaShawn, Papette, Darrell, Daryl, sorry, Royal. We have Vashawn, Darnell, Simply Stay. Hey, listen, we want to thank you all for watching with us, Miss Felicia Carter. We want to thank you guys for watching with us. And listen, we're talking about 6 steps in restoring trust in your marriage. And we want to make sure that we understand that Couples Academy, we are here to serve you all. And we have the last chance weekend coming up this weekend. And listen, you still have time. We still have couples signing up over the weekend because they were trying to get into this particular slot because you don't want to wait. You don't want to put it off, thinking that, oh, you can self-medicate for weeks and months at a time. I'll just wait until the next one, or I'll try to get myself together and then go. I always say, when you have an emergency, you don't say, oh, let's wait for the ambulance because I don't have the money to pay for transportation. No, you say, I am hurting and I need to get to the hospital right now by any means necessary. And likewise with your marriage, if you know that your marriage is in a crisis state, you want to get here so that we can pour into you, that we can help revitalize you and resuscitate your dead marriage and make sure that you can live your best life now. So listen, take advantage. We are here for you. Last chance weekend is served every second weekend of the month. We have one coming up. You still have time. So let's get back into it. We're talking about the 6 steps in restoring trust in marriage. And we want to make sure that we apologize the right way in words and attitude. Let's take it from here, Gonzalez. What do you say about that?
There's a right and wrong way to apologize. An example, I was raised to say, I'm sorry that I raised my voice, but you triggered me. Okay, that doesn't sound sincere. Once you say but, you dismissed everything that was said. The proper way is, again, taking that ownership. It's your tone. It's your approach. Can we talk? Listen, being full transparent is just being honestly, not literal, but naked and unashamed about what's about to come. Because, excuse my French, all hell and hot water gonna come. It's gonna come. But we were never taught to say, I'm sorry. But that forgiveness, I'm sorry. Go tell your brother you're sorry. You're sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not heartfelt. And in other words, the right way is, okay, I'm sorry. I know I offended you. What can I do to help us move forward? Mm-hmm. What can I do? How can we move forward? Well, get out. Okay, get that space in that time. You know what I mean? Should I come back? When should I come back? So it's all about that approach and tone, man. That approach and tone is key. It is key. It's effective communication. That's how you do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one of the biggest things is changing your attitude towards another person when you are apologizing the right way is going to be most effective, and the outcome is going to be most effective when you go into it in a humble state. And we have to make sure we understand that we don't have the attitude of just get over it, or we still dealing with this, or why do we have to continue dealing with this? We have to put ourselves in a position when we apologize in the right way, having the right attitude. And so the question becomes, well, how do I get a person to do this without having to ask questions? Well, questions is going to be an ongoing thing when you are trying to restore trust. But the problem is we often want to stop the process because we don't want to be transparent, because we don't want to ask questions, because we don't want to be vulnerable, because we don't want to take ownership of what we've done. Absolutely. I said a mouthful, but it's all relevant to restoring trust. You have to put yourself in a position that you understand what you have done. You have caused this. And rightfully so, it may have contributing factors to it, but at the end of the day, it's yours. You own it. You have to take it. So when we apologize the right way, we have to have the right attitude, the right mindset, and we definitely have to have the right heart. So let's make sure we understand apologizing the right way in our words and also with our attitude. Make repair attempts using your spouse's love language. Oh my goodness, this is huge, Gonzalez, because we don't want to study our spouses. And I say it all the time. If you've been married or been together for any length of time, we begin to take one another for granted. We begin to think that we know each other, but we are ever growing. The oxymoron says the only thing that remains the same is change, and we are ever changing, we're ever growing, and we have to take time to tap into our spouses to understand what they like and what moves them. And when we understand who they are, we can better approach them and handling them in any given situation. So I know what triggers, I know what soothes, I know what heals, I know what approach to take because I know my spouse's love language. Marriage is work. And in order to do the work the right way, we have to study our spouses. We have to take out the time to know who they are and understand who they are and understand what makes them tick and what makes them keep going. And so when we do this, understanding we can speak their language, not just their love language, but their absolute language, then we can have a better outcome when we're trying to restore trust and just trying to maintain a healthy relationship.
The thing about it is, man, you don't want to have a stale relationship. You don't want to you don't want to preserve your relationship in a can and allow it to sit on the shelf for not only weeks, months, but years, where it gets to the point where you got to throw it out. You always want to keep it fresh, because once it's fresh, you can tell the difference. You don't want to have anything that is outdated. That's why we constantly speaking life into the person, speaking life into our marriages. Because when you speak life, it grows. When you talk to that flower, which is your spouse or your partner, it grows. It gives life. It produces life. But when you stop speaking, it becomes dormant. It starts to grow mold. And then you wonder why the attitude is still in the house. The aura is in the house. We're taught that we are supposed to control our emotions and the emotions of the environment. When you come into the house, it should not feel stale. There should not be a aura or an odor that is not welcoming. Even when you leave for work, you got to set the tone all day long.
Absolutely. There was a question that was asked by Miss LaShawn Jackson. What if you've done just the things that you spoke about, but the hurt person just can't accept it? Well, listen, it's one of those things. Hurt does affect everyone differently. Everyone has a different reaction to the hurt and the pain that has been caused. And a lot of times, what happens is we want to stay stuck in a hurt place, but we don't get the nutrients, the healing, the assistance that we need to get out of this stuck place. But then that's when you have to understand that healing is a choice. That's a great book by Stephen Arterburg. Healing is a choice, and we have to choose how we want to live the rest of our lives. You've been hurt, you've been knocked down, but you have to decide if you're going to stay down or if you're going to get back up. You have to decide if you're going to stop and let situations and circumstances pause you and pause your life, or you're going to get up, brush yourself off, and keep on going. And it takes two parties. So if you are hurt, you remained with your spouse, but your spouse is not making the conscious efforts that you need then that's when a hard conversation needs to be had. That's when you have to be able to express to your spouse, this is what I need to get out of this hurt space. And once you do that, you should be able to come together. You should be able to reconcile, and it's going to take time, but you should be able to get to a place that you can have conversations and not feel the hurt and pain that you are sitting in, because you want to release it and you have a means and safe place to do so.
No,
What you say, guys?
no, I totally agree with you. You know what I mean? I totally agree with you with that. You know, healing is a choice. And what up happening is either you choose to allow it to heal or you keep the Band-Aid off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, the air does heal it over time. But as far as a fresh wound, you got to clean it and then protect it.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, hurt parties are not protecting the hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're wondering why they are not healing, because now you got dirt, you got bacteria, you got these issues, man. So I believe everything that you said.
And we have to watch the words that we say, because they are very, very, very detrimental to the healing process of our spouses. We cannot, wait until we have this bad argument and start using words, and we're speaking words out of anger and out of frustration, because words can either help, hinder, or hurt the person that we're speaking to. And we want to make sure that we're using words consciously and being mindful of the words that we're saying. And we always say, don't speak in your feelings when you're in your feelings, because you are bound to say something that you don't necessarily mean. But once you say it, it is put out there. Okay. So let's be mindful of that. The next one is fix wrongful behavior or mistakes and move into forgiveness. Fix wrongful behavior or mistakes and move into forgiveness. Listen, when you're doing trust, when you understand trust is a process to get from one state to another, you have to understand that forgiving a person is not for the other person. Forgiving allows you to release the pain that you carry in your own soul, to relieve you of that pain and be able to give forgiveness to the person that has hurt you, that has caused you pain. And so oftentimes we think that I'm not going to forgive that person because they have wronged me. I'm not going to forgive that person because they have hurt me. But forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness is for yourself. And you want to correct the mistakes. You want to acknowledge the mistakes, but you want to be in a place to forgive. And when we understand that we have done things to people, that we have put ourselves in a position where we were looking for forgiveness, it should be a little easier at times to forgive people that have hurt us, because at some point or another, we have said something, we have done something to hurt someone else.
Listen, forgiveness is extremely huge. Huge. When you wipe the slate clean, when you allow that person to they're not getting away with nothing. It's just a fresh start of the pain that was inflicted. And just paraphrase it, you're exonerating that person. You're wiping it clean. And you're starting fresh. Once you get the tools that you need, once you come to Couples Academy, you're going to get some tools for your kit. You're going to learn how to exonerate forgiveness. Then you're going to learn how to, and exonerating is like, what was it? I seen something, excuse me. Not only when you let it clean, you're having that feeling of that emotion where it's a release. You're releasing it, right? Then you have the forbearance, where you don't forgive. I forgive you, but I'm not gonna forget. It's that cheap forgiveness. But the thing about it is, once you release yourself from the pain, the negativity that has people caused you for your life, then you're able to breathe. A lot of times and as he said, is forgiveness is for you. So what you're doing is you're releasing yourself from the pain, the burden, the hurt that was caused onto you, because that person is going to go on, move on, whether you accept their forgiveness or not. Whether you forget, whether you release it or not, it's on you. So it's all about what you have in that toolkit. That toolkit.
Absolutely. You're so on point. I do want to look at this comment. Miss Jules Smith said, forgiveness won't change your past, but forgiveness will definitely change your future. How true is that? Yes, what has happened, but how you respond to what has happened through forgiveness will definitely change how your future looks and how things will turn out for you coming up. There was a question that was asked: how do you deal with triggers? I am very communicated with them. Uh, she asked another question: how do you deal with triggers? I'm very communicated with them when they come up. Example: when he doesn't invite me, I feel he is hiding something. He tells me constantly it's him, not me. What can I do? What you think, Gonzalez?
It's all about how it's approached. You know what I mean? When you don't when I'm not transparent about my feelings, about those triggers, and I'm hiding something, it's not a good look. Because now I have to be transparent and being open with my wife and wanting to know what are your triggers. I have to be vulnerable to let her in. I have to. I have to be that mirror that, okay, what is bothering you, babe? Not what. Explain to me in full detail. Because if I show up hearing her heart, hearing her triggers, then I'm aware and I'm acknowledging her pain, her triggers. Write them down. Write them down. And let's talk through the issues. A lot of times is we don't want to talk through our issues. And when if we're hiding something, then now, okay, where am I going to run? No, communicating effectively on a work day and a play day. We got to first work on our marriage and work on these triggers. Because if we go to the gun range and they teach us the safety rules and the precautions about that trigger, you can't shoot the gun first and then worry about the trigger later. There's a safety mechanism because there's going to be a kickback. And once it kicks back, you got to be ready. So him not being ready to receive what she's feeling, how she's feeling, hey, those that hide nothing, have nothing to hide nothing. But make the discovery call.
Yeah, and let me just I want to make a left turn right here, because she mentioned that example that he doesn't invite her places and constantly saying it's him and not me, and that is a clear sign of pushing off responsibility of not wanting to do the work. That's an easy thing to say. It's you, it's me, it's not you, right? But that tends to try to justify this bad behavior that we're doing. And quite honestly, when I don't invite my spouse, when I don't let my spouse into my space, nine times out of 10, we have some other stuff going on and we don't want to share that space with them. But if we're going to be transparent, if we're going to establish and restore trust, we have to be willing to make sure that we do things differently. And when you get to a place of walking in integrity, you just move different. You look different. You walk different. You talk different. And that's why you get to that space of doing the work. Because once you do the work, then it's not a matter of, it's all about it's me and not you. Now it's a matter of let's take a ride together. Let's move together because now we can do things in a different space because we are one. Right. And so we have to stop this separation and division between the two because we want to continue hiding, doing what we're doing. It's not going to serve any one of us well. We're talking about the 6 steps in restoring trust and marriage. And we want to hit this last one before we go. Remember that time does not heal. We say time does not heal. Why? Because it takes work to restore trust. And anytime you use the word that means to do over. to restore trust in a marriage means that we have to do some things differently. We have to operate differently. We have to put in the work to see change in our lives and in our marriage. Sometimes you have to tear it all the way down, get down to the root cause, the bottom, the foundation, and then we can build up from that point on. Hey, listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We thank you guys for sharing with us and being with us. The 6 steps in restoring trust in marriage. If you need us, because we know that you do, please reach out, like, share, and subscribe. Let your friends know that we are here, but make the discovery call so that we can help you. We'll see you on tomorrow.